Tim here, and this review is definitely late, but I've been sick with a nasty cold for the past few days, and I still have it. So apologies for my voice and the extra low energy. But yes, it's time to get into my review of The Last of Us episode 7. We're going to get into that now just after the intro. So this was the episode everyone knew was coming, the Left Behind episode, named directly from the DLC from the PlayStation game. And I'm gonna say right now, for me, this is the weakest episode so far. Not a bad episode, just weak. It opens with Joel still being hurt and Ellie trying to figure out what to do. My first kind of issue was just the flashback connection. There was just no connection to why suddenly they have her as if she's remembering. They have Ellie as she's like kind of about to go up to the house. They're in this house and Ellie's about to like go just trying to find something to help Joel. And I just don't understand the connection between why at that moment Ellie would suddenly have a flashback about her life before all this happened. Joel's lying on a mattress, bleeding out, dying, and all of a sudden Ellie's just going to have a memory of her life, back in the QZ. I did not understand that connection or why they did that. Maybe that's in the game too, I don't know. Or they're just doing it as kind of like not a flashback of Ellie, but just filling in an episode. But they made it look like she was thinking of this. So why would she think this in the middle of an emergency? Joel's bleeding out and dying. But for some reason, Ellie's just going to stop and think about, being in the QZ and hanging out with her friend Riley and all that stuff. I didn't get that. It was just a weird place to put it. Or I don't know why they didn't set it up better in the show. Ellie, and she's uh, getting in trouble all the time, and she's being bullied by people. She has this friend named Riley who was a roommate, but she's gone for some reason. No one knows why. So multiple reasons why I thought this was the weakest episode. First was, like I said, the connection with the flashback. But second was Storm Reed as an actress. I thought she was borderline terrible in this episode. It really just felt like she was phoning in the entire performance. I mean, I have no idea about coming in and doing one episode as an actor and how that works, or how much time you have to prep. But she was so bad. Like, I really was almost cringing at how bad she was. Nothing against her, because I've seen her before in things and she was good. But in this, she was just borderline terrible. Another thing I thought weak in the story was how she explained how she just met Marlene, and apparently Marlene had been spying on her, watching her sneak around, and says, "Hey, you'd be good for the Fireflies. You're in." Like, is it really that easy to just get into the Fireflies? Be like, "Hey, do you want to be part of the Fireflies?" Sure. Okay, you're in. Boom. That just felt really weak to me as well. But like I said before, the Left Behind DLC was the only part of the whole Last of Us games that I haven't played. So I don't know how much of this is exactly like that DLC or not. But that was also a very weak explanation of how she just got into the Fireflies. So yeah, Riley wants to take her on this little adventure. Her motivation behind that isn't revealed until a little bit later. But Riley's been gone, and she shows up and she wants to take Ellie to the mall that they've been to before, to like hang out and have one last fun night together. And of course, we had this shot that was in the trailer, and I don't know how much of this is actually in the mall, because they shot this some of this at least at Northland Mall in Calgary, which is a mall that has been basically shut down completely, which is too bad because I thought it was a pretty good mall. It had like Walmart and Best Buy and GameStop, and it had like all the stores that I liked going to. But that aside, I say half of this is probably set, but it was cool to just to see more of what they shot in Calgary and seeing how it turned out in the long run, and based on the on-set pics that were taken. Yeah, this little moment here on top of the escalator, it's kind of funny because I guess Ellie had never seen this before, so she was kind of amazed by moving stairs. But I'm kind of surprised at how this mall still has any electricity at all. They never really explained that. Like, it's been 20 years or so, and somehow this mall still has power all these years later. That was also kind of weak. But this, I've also haven't actually listened to the podcast episode yet, which is pretty late for me considering it's like Tuesday now or something. And I usually listen to that immediately after. But I need to go to that episode and listen to about what they changed and why. So this here, I'm not sure how much of this is actually Northland Mall, because it's not a very big mall. It's literally just, a big store on either end, and then stores in between. Because this doesn't look like it, but maybe it is. It's hard to say. But there's definitely no movie theater in it. They put a theater in it, and you can't really see what movies are on there. They definitely did some more development on Ellie and her being a lesbian, I guess. They don't outright ever say that or whatever. Like, I don't even like saying that word lesbian anymore personally. But she clearly likes Riley, and they have a lot of moments there where she's looking at Riley in a certain way, and that was all good. Oh, there's GameStop. So this is still in the mall. If this still is still in the mall, I can see the stop as part of GameStop. So yeah, if it is where it is, I think it is, then it's in a more open area near the end of the mall. So yeah, because I know exactly where that GameStop is. So it's likely that they did build this Ferris merry-go-round inside that mall. Oh, it's kind of nuts. And yes, of course, more nice little moments with Riley and Ellie clearly liking her. Riley, it's not as clear, but Ellie, you can see it in her eyes. But Stormy was just so bad in this episode, like the worst acting I've seen this entire season. Like, even right there, you can kind of see in Ellie's eyes, like, how good Bella was at showing her feelings towards Riley, and Riley just being like, whatever. And of course, the arcade. This arcade doesn't exist. I love that they actually took time and focused on playing Mortal Kombat 2, because this is like literally my favorite arcade game of all time. I spent so much money on Mortal Kombat 2, so it was amazing to see them put that in here. I'm not sure if this is in the game, and I don't know if it's Craig Mason or Neil Druckmann who loves this game, but this is literally my favorite arcade game ever. I don't even know how much money I spent playing this game, but the fact that they put it in there and they actually like focused on it a little bit too, not just showed a picture of it. They actually showed them playing a couple rounds. And it's also a callback to when Ellie saw a Mortal Kombat 2 thing, machine somewhere else with her and Joel, and she was all like telling about how Melina can suck you up and spit out your guts. Yeah, it was really hilarious to show this. It was hilarious that they would focus on the game this much, but that you showed Melina and Raiden. Melina fighting Raiden. But then they show somewhere else in the building a pretty far gone clicker. And I guess this is the same clicker that attacked him, but this one looked like it's stuck to the wall, like it can't even move. So it seemed weird that there would only be one clicker in this entire building. Like there wasn't like a nest of them or whatnot. Riley reveals that she has to leave. She's going to a different QZ area or whatever for the Fireflies, and that this was her last night and she wanted to spend it with Ellie. But she's also trying to recruit Ellie into the Fireflies, so they have a big old fight, and Ellie's like, F you, and like tries to walk away. This here is a good shot to see of like just how big Riley is, but I don't know, with Stormreed, I feel like she maybe had a growth spurt recently, because the last thing I saw her in before this was probably Euphoria, another really great HBO show. And in that she played Zendaya's sister, and Zendaya's pretty tall too, I think. But in here, she looks like a giant compared to Bella Ramsey. I mean, in the DLC, they both look really young and around the same age and the same size. But in this, Riley looks like a giant. That's just, because Stormreed is tall, I guess. Ellie manages to, like, stab it in the head. I don't know if this is the first time she's ever done this. I think probably it has. But, again, it kind of harkens back to an earlier episode where she stabbed that clicker that was stuck under the rocks in the head. So, that wasn't her first time. This is the moment where we see that Ellie's been bit, and she, like, gets really upset immediately, like, F you, fuck the world, blah, 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 blah. Ellie just starts flipping out and smashing stuff, and then but Riley really reveals that she got bit as well. Sitting here deciding, okay, we're both bit, what do we do? And then Riley suggests they just straight up kill themselves, or maybe it was Ellie. There's some more little moments between them. Then the flashback ends, and then we're back to Ellie and this house. So I don't know if time-wise she actually stopped there for a second and was thinking about all this, because that just really doesn't make sense. If Joel's dying, she would just stop for 40 odd minutes and just think about all this. And how they like shoehorned it in there just didn't work for me at all. Maybe this is just like it is in the DLC, but it did not work. Her just suddenly stopping, trying to find a way to help Joel think about a thing that happened however long ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever. It just did not feel right. Like, why would she do that if Joel's dying? And the episode just ends. I don't even think Joel talks. He just winces the whole time. And it ends with Ellie trying to sew him up. And I don't know if Ellie knows how to do that, or she's really good at it. But I don't know. She didn't put any kind of disinfectant on this cut. She just starts sewing him up. So the episode ends with Ellie sewing up Joel. And I guess they wanted to think that Joel's gonna die, but spoiler alert, he doesn't die. Yeah, so the episode kind of ends the same way the last episode did, with Joel down, and Ellie over him, like, what do I do? But she's trying to help him, and we all know that Joel's not gonna die, because we've seen him in shots for later episodes, but there's only 2 episodes left. There's still a lot to happen. I mean, Ellie still has to get kidnapped, and Joel has to like get better and whatnot, so it's curious to see how much more they can fit into this season. Or maybe they aren't doing the whole game, but I mean, if they are, there's still a lot. If they are just doing the whole game of Last of Us 1 in the whole season, then there's still a lot more to happen in just 2 episodes. So I think the last episode is probably going to be like an hour and more, an hour and a half maybe, just because there's not a lot to happen. So if it sounds differently, it's because of my voice. I'm sick, but I'm also on my tablet and I'm trying this brand new wireless mic that I got off AliExpress because I wanted to see how good this mic would sound to shoot and edit things on my tablet and not just be restricted to my laptop. So if you're watching this, let me know how it sounds for you because I'm literally just holding this tiny little mic. So let me know what you think about this episode. I think it's the weakest episode. Storm Reed was borderline terrible, but it still wasn't bad. I just definitely my lowest rated episode for this season. Not that I have a rating for it, but anyways, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in a few more days when episode 8 comes out.